Are you ready to learn some real life English with comprehensible input? Well, good, because today we are going to continue improving our English by talking about 6 books that can make you rich. Let's go. Hey guys, it is your English-speaking friend, Kyle, and today we are going to continue improving our English with comprehensible input. What is comprehensible input? Comprehensible input is when a native speaker, like me, speaks slowly and clearly so that you can understand. And guys, today, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys about 6 books that can make you rich. All right, guys, that might be a little bit clickbaity. Do you guys know what clickbaity means? Well, to click is when you click on something on the internet, a video or an article, click. Clickbait is when they make it sound way better than it really is to make you click on it. And then you realize, hey, that's not what it said. That's not what they said. These aren't going to make me rich, okay? That might have been a little bit clickbaity. I just wanted to get your attention. However, a solid financial education can make you rich, but at the very least, it will improve your financial situation in your life. And guys, believe me, on my list of important things in my life, money is not number 1. Money is not number 2. Money is not number 3, but it might be number 4. And guys, the reason that money is so important is because all the other top 3 things in my life are better with money. The time that I can spend with my family is better if we have extra money. My health is better if I have the money to eat healthy foods, take proper care of myself. My YouTube channel is better if I have money to buy good filming equipment and things like that. And guys, let me tell you from personal experience, the hard times in your life are 10 times harder when you do not have money. So that's why I think it is important for every single one of us to learn as much as we can and get a financial education. One way to do this, by reading books. So guys, today I'm going to be telling you about 6 books that I read about money that really helped to shape the way that I think about money. These books are written by wealthy people, some of them, and they are full of knowledge that you can use to improve your financial situation. So, are you ready to improve your English and your financial life? Let's get started. Book number 1, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This is a super popular book, guys, and in a lot of videos talking about books about money, this one will be mentioned. I'm doing this one first because it is honestly my least favorite of all these books, and I kind of feel like this guy, I don't know, I don't really like his attitude about money, but there's some super important things in this book. Let me tell you about some of the most important ideas and lessons that you can learn from reading The Psychology of Money. The first lesson that I think is super valuable in this book, it's kind of common sense, but a lot of times common sense isn't common, which means a lot of times the super simple answer to a question, we don't think about it, okay? So sometimes it helps us to hear these super simple things and we think, wow, I never looked at it that way. So the first thing that I get from this book is that money is more about how you act and the things you do than how smart you are. There are a lot of very smart people that are terrible with money. For example, you could be super smart, but if every time you get paid, you go and buy all the fancy clothes that you want or spend it going out to eat or drink, you're not gonna acquire wealth, okay? You're not gonna save money. You're not gonna become wealthy in the future because you're wasting all your money, or what we sometimes say, blowing all your money every time you get it. Now, on the other hand, you could be completely normal intelligence, not a super smart person, just a regular guy or girl, but you can get rich or wealthy if you save your money, then invest your money, then have patience while your money grows. So guys, it's these small habits, okay? Saving $50 every time you get paid, maybe you think, oh, that will never become anything, that's so small. But you do that week after week after week, and then after a few years, you've got several $1,000s. And then you start to invest and it starts to grow by 5 to 10% every year. Then next thing you know, 30 years have passed and you've got over $1 million in your savings and investment accounts. And that's another very important lesson from this book, guys. Patience. Everything takes time, but really, guys, the secret to investing is putting your money into a solid, boring sometimes investment and being patient while it grows. The next important, very important lesson from this book, don't show off. Okay? Now, what this means is if you do start to make good money, don't immediately go and buy the super expensive car or a $20,000 watch, okay? Because people who do that, they're trying to show everybody, hey, look at me. I'm good. I make money. They're trying to post on Instagram and make other people think that they are richer than they actually are. True wealth, guys, is the money that you keep, okay? The investments that are working for you and making money for you. Not the car that goes down in value every year. That is called a depreciating asset. The next thing that I read in this book that really stuck out to me was that luck can be a very big factor when it comes to finding success or wealth. And when I first read this, I didn't like that at all, guys, because I'm the kind of person that thinks we all need to take 100% responsibility for our lives, okay? Even if bad things are happening all around us, it's still our responsibility to somehow find a way out of it. Now, that does not apply to people who have wars and things like that going on around them. That's not their fault, okay? But I just really don't like when people see somebody who's doing really good and say things like, oh, he's lucky, she's lucky, that's why she's successful. And that's why I didn't like it when I read that in this book, because I was thinking, okay, he said, for example, Bill Gates got super lucky, the founder of Microsoft, because his school had computers in it, and almost no other schools had computers back then. Now, while I agree that that is a super lucky thing, it feels like he's almost trying to say that that's the only reason that Bill Gates became successful. And I don't like that he didn't even acknowledge the thousands of hours of hard work that an entrepreneur like Bill Gates would have had to put into his business. Now, I've changed a lot in my thinking about this, and something that really helped me to change the way I see luck when it comes to success is my conversation I had with Steve Kaufman. He told me that luck is a big part of success, but I love the way that he put it. He basically said, you have to keep trying and trying and trying, because if you don't keep trying, you will never get lucky, okay? So I like that because it combines the hard work, the never giving up, the keep going and going and going until one thing works and you get lucky. But I don't think that's blind luck, because you had to keep working and working and working and working. And eventually one of those things paid off and you got lucky. And the last thing, guys, expect surprises, okay? Things change all the time. The housing market will change. The stock market will change. The value of gold and silver will change. Maybe you have a good job now. Maybe you get fired tomorrow. You have to be ready for change, because life is constantly changing. So be humble and be prepared for change. I always like to tell people to try and save up an emergency fund, because you never know when life will change. All right, guys, that's all from that book. All right, guys, book number 2, The Millionaire Next Door. This is written by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. Guys, I really enjoyed this book, and it helped me to change a few things in my life. And it's called The Millionaire Next Door because this isn't about the people like Bill Gates or Elon Musk. This is about the normal people that live next door to you, your neighbors, who have become millionaires by following good habits, guys. Normal people. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand when they think a millionaire, they think of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. They think of somebody who has everything in the world. But a millionaire just means that your net worth is over $1 million. And your net worth means all of your assets, all the things you own, all the money you have put together is over $1 million. That makes you a millionaire. So if you own a house that's $500,000, you own it, you don't have a loan, okay? You have $200,000 in a savings account, and then you have $500,000 in a retirement account. You are a millionaire. That's the kind of people that this book is talking about. People that worked normal jobs for 50 years and saved slowly, but saved every month. People that had good habits and played the right way and became millionaires over time. So the most important thing in this book is that millionaires live below their means. Now, living below your means means living on less money than you make. So they make more money than they spend. They are not spending every dollar that they make in their paychecks. So, for example, instead of buying a new car every 3 years, they buy one reliable car and then they drive it forever until it doesn't work anymore and save so much money by doing that. Another common thing that they saw in all of the people, all of the millionaires that they interviewed for this book, is that they avoid debt. Meaning they do not use credit cards to buy things that they do not have money for. They do not use credit cards to go on vacations and then spend the next 2 years paying off that credit card. They only buy things if they have the cash to pay for it. And guys, let me tell you, if you follow that one simple rule, never buy something unless you have the cash to buy it, your financial health will go way up. Believe me, guys, I've gotten into trouble with credit cards before, and you spend so much money that you didn't have to spend. You're making the guy at the bank rich when you should be worrying about improving your own financial situation. Another very important habit that they found in the people they interviewed for this book was that these people teach their kids about money, okay? That is something that poor people will never do. These people teach their kids about good spending habits, about avoiding debt, about the power of investment, and for that reason, their children will grow up and be the next millionaire next door. Another huge thing that I never really thought about is something called lifestyle inflation, okay? And this is something that the book says happens a lot with lawyers and doctors. And here's something super interesting, guys. There are more school teachers in the United States that are millionaires than there are doctors and lawyers. And the reason for that, lifestyle inflation, okay? The school teacher who's been making $50,000 a year for 50 years, she's been investing every month slowly. She's been driving a normal car. She's been living in a normal house. Whereas the lawyer, he thinks that he has to have the best watch to make his colleagues respect him. He thinks that he has to drive the best car when he shows up to court so his clients will think he's cool and want to hire him. That's lifestyle inflation. Every time one of these flashy guys makes some extra money, they spend it trying to look like they make more money. Now, that's not everybody. That's just in general. That's what happens, and it's called lifestyle inflation. So if you start making more money one day, don't start spending more. Start investing more. So that's all from this book, guys. Avoid lifestyle inflation, learn about money and then teach your children, avoid debt, and live below your means. All right, guys. Now, in this part, I'm going to talk about 2 books in the same section. And the reason I'm going to do this is because these 2 books talk about very similar things. They're about the same topic of real estate, okay? And this book is called The Book on Rental Property Investing. This book I read in Spanish, and it's called Un inmueble al año no hace daño, which means 1 property per year won't hurt. So guys, like I said, both of these 2 books are about investing in real estate, okay? And I read these and I took a course with a local real estate investor and learned a whole lot about investing in real estate. It's something I've been very interested in, and many people have become very, very wealthy investing in real estate. So if you've never heard this word, real estate, in English, it means buying properties, buying homes, buying buildings, businesses, okay? There's a lot of different kinds of real estate. There's residential, which means buying homes, buying apartments, and there's commercial, which means buying the big buildings that businesses use. Or you could even buy like a McDonald's or a Burger King. That's real estate investing as well as a business. So these books, guys, like I said, these books have a lot in common. Now, the things that both of these books will tell you is that real estate can be a wonderful long-term way to build wealth. Now, long-term means you're not going to start investing in real estate and be rich tomorrow. It means you slowly start investing, and over time, you start to build wealth and can eventually become a millionaire. Many people have become millionaires from investing in real estate, but you have to do it right. Which brings me to the next part. Both of these books, they think that you should start small to learn, okay? Don't go out and start taking on a bunch of debt and buying a ton of properties. Start with one property that you can get for a good price and learn about real estate. Learn about being a landlord, which means the person who owns the property. Because guys, as many people who have become wealthy in real estate, many people have lost it all by being greedy or by trying to move too fast when they didn't have the right education. The next thing that these two books will teach you is that cash flow is king. Now here's some good vocabulary, guys. When we say that something is king, it means it's the number one, it's the top, it's the best, okay? So what is cash flow? Cash flow is the money that comes to you after you've paid your expenses. So both of these books tell you exactly how to figure out how much cash flow you can make off of a property. So this means that the rent that you receive from that property is more than the amount that you owe on a loan for that property. It's more than the taxes you have to pay, and it's more than any repairs you might have to do, okay? So after you pay your mortgage, your taxes, after you fix it all up, the money that you make extra from the rent after that is called cash flow. So let's say you own a house, you have a mortgage on it, and you have to pay $1,500 a month for mortgage and taxes, okay? But you're renting that house to somebody else, and they pay you $2,000 a month in rent. The $500 that you make after you pay all of your expenses is called your cash flow. Now, how you figure out if a house or a property is going to give you cash flow is by doing your homework, which is the next thing recommended by both of these authors. Oh, I forgot to mention, this book is written by Carlos Davis. He's a Colombian. He's like 60 or 70 years old, and he's awesome. Super cool guy, super knowledgeable. And this one is written by Brandon Turner, and he has an awesome podcast called Bigger Pockets. So if you're interested in these kind of topics and you want to improve your English, check out the Bigger Pockets podcast. If you're interested in Spanish, or Spanish is your first language, check out Carlos Davis if you don't know him already. Anyway, they both say that you need to do your homework, and you do this by studying the market, the area, any laws that might be in that area specific to rentals and owning different properties, and always check the people who are going to rent your house, okay? That means don't just let the first person who comes rent your home, because that person might be a drug addict. They might have been to prison a bunch of times in the past. They might be a violent person. And when you don't do your homework, that is when you lose money. And the next thing that both of these books tell you is think long term. Like I said, it's not an overnight thing. But especially if you're doing like Mr. Davies says and getting one property a year, over time, your net worth is going to blow up, and your cash flow every month from the rents is going to be like having another income. So those are the things that are similar. The differences between these books is that Brandon Turner is mainly talking to Americans, and Carlos Davis is mainly talking to Latinos in South America, even though he also talks a lot about Latinos living in the US, so he mentions a lot of the struggles that they might face. And another thing that's different between these books is the scale, the size of the investments, okay? Brandon Turner has huge apartment buildings. he owns a lot more than Mr. Davies. Mr. Davies is talking more to normal people who want to improve their lives slowly and surely with real estate. So if that's you, you want to slowly build your future, I'd recommend trying to find this in your language. But if you have dreams of being a real estate mogul, check out Brandon Turner's work. He's great. All right, guys. Next book. All right, guys. Next book is written by somebody who I really respect and admire, Tony Robbins. Guys, look at that face. That's a winner's face. You could take what this guy says and believe it. He's been a motivational speaker for like 40 years. I've listened to tons of his stuff. I've read a couple of his books, and he's just a really cool person. He seems like a genuine and nice person, but he's also very, very rich. So you could take what he says in this book and know that it's coming from somebody who knows what they're talking about. So guys, this book, I would honestly say, is probably more meant for someone like me living and working in the United States, because it talks about a lot of American investment systems, like the American retirement plan known as the 401k. I know they have something similar in England. I do not know if they have something similar in the country where you live. But he talks about a lot of things that specifically apply to Americans, but there's also a ton of general investing knowledge in here and super valuable advice, just like every single one of this guy's books, packed with awesome advice. So what I learned from this book, you need to focus on the long term, okay? And what he means by this is just invest every month. Don't worry about if the market is very good or very bad, because over time, it all averages out, okay? And if you're sitting around waiting for a perfect opportunity in the stock market to invest, you're going to miss out on a lot of gains. So guys, it's like if you only work out on days where you feel good and feel like working out, you're not going to make the results that you could. So he says invest a certain amount each month and keep on doing it no matter what the market is doing. Because what the market is doing, which when I say market, we refer to the stock market, which means all of the companies in the United States, the value of these stocks or pieces of the company go up and down, up and down. And a lot of times when they go up, everybody's happy. And then when they go down, everybody gets scared. Oh no. What Tony says, don't be scared. Just invest every single month. And over 30 years, you will make so much more money. That's a huge piece of advice, guys. Next thing that Tony really talks about and really deeply is diversify your investments. So what he means by diversify is don't put all of your money in one thing, okay? Diversifying means you put your money in a lot of different places, okay? Let's say you have $10,000 that you want to invest, or $500, whatever. Put part of it into gold, put part of it into a savings account that pays high interest, put part of it into the stock market. And why he says to do this, guys, is because you reduce risk, okay? Because maybe the stock market goes down, but gold goes up, okay? Or even if both the stock market and gold go down, your savings account is risk-free. So part of your money is still sitting there just fine, slowly growing, and you can sleep a lot better at night. Now, if every penny you have is in the stock market, and then the stock market goes, you're not going to sleep very well because you're going to be very worried about your investments. That leads me to another thing that Tony really talks about well in this book. And he says to avoid emotional decisions. So what he means is a lot of times when the stocks start to go down, everybody gets scared and they sell their stocks. Okay, that is the biggest mistake you can make in investing, because the stock market, guys, if you look at a graph of the stock market, it always goes up, down, but it always comes back up. So what he's saying is when it goes down, don't be scared. Just keep investing because it will come back up. It might come back up in 2 months. It might come back up in 5 years, but you're in it for the long term. So don't be emotional. Don't get scared and sell all your stuff. Just keep going. Now here's one that is huge for at least people here in the US, okay? He says understand your fees. Now, a fee is a percentage or a money amount that a company charges you to use their service, okay? Now, for example, I have a 401k retirement plan, which is where the government allows me to invest my money and it grows tax-free. And then later when I'm older, then I pay taxes on it, okay? But right now it's growing tax-free. And the government gives us this because they don't want us all to be very poor when we're in our 60s and 70s. And then we need the government's help. So this is like a motivation to invest. So the thing about this program is the company who offers the 401k, they want to make some money too. So if at my job, they automatically put you into a certain investment category, buying the stock that company recommends. But what they don't tell you is that stock charges a 2% fee. Now maybe you're thinking, oh, 2%? That's nothing. No, 2% every time that you buy that stock for the next 30 or 40 years. Guys, you're losing out on tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars if you don't understand that some investment services will take a lot of fees. So what Tony says is just use index funds. And this isn't an investment video, okay? But what he's talking about is basically the S&P 500. Now I'm going to tell you this, and if you know what the S&P 500 is in English, you're going to sound good when people are talking about money. The S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the United States, okay? And you can invest in that without any fees. So as soon as I read this book, guys, I went on to my app, the app on my phone where I can control my retirement investments, and got out of their garbage stock that they had me in and started investing all my money in the S&P 500, and it has grown and grown and grown. And the last thing that Tony says is focus on what you can control. Like I said earlier, the market goes up, down, real estate, up, down, gold and silver goes up, goes down. Don't worry about those things. Worry about what you do. You can save 10% of every paycheck if you try hard. You can stop drinking expensive coffees. I'm guilty of that, believe me. And start saving money by drinking it at home. You can find something that you're wasting money on and save that money. That's what Tony's talking about. Control your behavior. Don't try to control the market because the market is much bigger than any of us. So guys, that's what I learned from this awesome human being in this book. All right, guys, last book. And I thought it was fitting to make the last book on this list the book about the richest man alive because, like I've said many times, guys, you should never take fitness advice from somebody with small arms. You should never take money advice from people that don't have money. So who better to take money and success advice from than the richest man on planet Earth? Connor, who's the richest man on planet Earth?
Elon Musk and or Mr. Beast.
Oh, get out of here, Mr. Beast. Elon Musk. All right, guys, and this is a biography about Elon Musk. And what a biography is a book about that person's story, their life. But this is full of things that we can take away from Elon's life and put them towards our own goals. Because if you want to be successful, you start doing things that successful people do. So what did I learn from this book? Well, guys, the first thing I would say that you immediately see in this book and when examining the life of Elon Musk is that in order to achieve the success that he's achieved, you have to work like nobody else works, okay? Elon works 80 to 100 hours a week. When he's doing a big project, he sleeps on the floor of the SpaceX factory so that his workers know that he's willing to suffer with them. This guy works like nobody else on Earth. If he's not working, he's probably flying from one of his companies to the other company so that he can get to work in his other job. This is somebody who never stops working. And guys, that's something you really have to keep in mind when you're thinking about, do you want a life like that? Because Elon Musk is not a balanced person, okay? He has huge wealth, huge fame, but does he have love in his life? Does he have peace? Does he have happiness? Okay, so these are all things to keep in mind. But the lesson that you can learn from this is if you want massive, massive, massive success, massive, massive, massive amounts of work. Next lesson that we could all learn from Elon Musk. And guys, this is something I kind of talked about in my video about my goals. Think big and have huge goals, okay? Now, my goals aren't quite like Elon's. Elon's trying to change the world, trying to change humanity, trying to make us a multi-planetary species. That's a direct quote from Elon. He wants human beings to live on different planets as well as on Earth. So Elon's goals are huge. But the lesson is, no matter what people tell you, dream big, okay? How many people told him, oh, that's not going to work? And then he does it. Cars that drive themselves, rockets that go up and come back down and land. Elon thinks big. So you don't have to think that big, but I think most people should be thinking bigger than they're thinking. Next thing that you can learn by looking at the life of Elon Musk. He takes huge risk. Okay, so without big risk, there will not be big rewards. So for example, Elon sold a company a long time ago. He had a partner or two called PayPal. Many of you know what PayPal is. Elon had a lot to do with that company. When he sold PayPal, he got something like $120-something million. He didn't take that money and just go invest in safe things. He took that money and started two other companies, Tesla and SpaceX. Both of these companies came so close to bankruptcy, which means that the company failed and ran out of money. But Elon worked hard. He kept taking risks. He kept pushing forward. He kept thinking big. And now everybody, at least in this country, knows what Tesla and SpaceX are. This is actually a really inspirational story, guys, because the next thing that I took from this is to keep on going, even through failure. Okay, Elon Musk has launched rockets into the sky and then they exploded. Okay, people are laughing at him on Twitter and all over social media. The people on the news are calling him a failure. They're talking bad about him. But does he quit? Not a chance. He keeps going, keeps pushing, keeps taking risk. And guys, that's something that you have to learn how to do if you want to achieve something big. You can't let other people's opinions about you if you fail, or thinking things like, oh, I shouldn't even try because I might fail. Guys, some of the best things that will ever happen in your life are on the other side of a big risk where you might fail. So push through. And even if you fail, that's nothing but a valuable lesson. I've failed a lot in my life, guys. Every person who has actually achieved any of their real goals, any worthwhile goals, has failed a lot. All right? And not just Elon, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison. Okay? Everybody who's ever been somebody has failed before they succeeded. So don't be scared to fail. Okay, guys, and the last thing I will say that you can learn from this book is to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Okay? Now, that might be kind of difficult for Elon. He knows a lot of things about a lot of things, but he doesn't know everything about each specific part of his companies. Okay? Maybe he doesn't know about transmissions in cars, so he finds the best person to put in charge of that in Tesla. Maybe he doesn't know everything about the best fuel to use for the rockets, so he has a team of rocket scientists at SpaceX. So guys, surround yourself with the smartest and best people that you can find, and you will find success. All right, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it can bring some value to your life. And like I said, guys, money is not everything. It's not even in the top 3, but it might be number 4 when you're talking about important things in your life. And believe me, if your money's in order, those top 3, 4, or 5 more important things will be even better. Your family will feel safer, you'll be healthier, and you'll be able to have more fun. So my friends, thank you for being with me. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you